Welcome to the fifth episode of our frequently asked questions about the Daegu Mosque issue series. In today's episode, we will examine the disappointing role of law enforcement authorities in South Korea regarding this matter. Despite court orders, there have been instances where obstructions occurred in presence of police. Local pastors and residents have verbally and physically abused the construction workers, even with law enforcement officers present. In this video, you can see two pastors jumping on the construction truck while police are on the scene. After obstructing the construction, the police managed to convince them to get off the truck in a polite way. Imagine if a foreigner was jumping on the truck, how would the police have reacted? In this video, you can see that these pastors are even bold enough to physically push one of our university professor who is both Korean and female, all while police officers are present. In another part of the video, residents are seen pushing the site manager and throwing sand at him in front of the police. Despite clear recordings of the workers and site manager being pushed and the construction vehicle being hit, the police was merely recording the events without intervening or taking action. Even after pushing the concrete worker, when the neighboring lady fell down herself, which happened in presence of police, they falsely accused our concrete worker and prosecutor fined the worker instead. This raises questions about the role of law enforcement in allowing physical assault, which is a crime under Korean law. Protesters openly violated the Supreme Court's orders not to obstruct the construction, blocking the site multiple times while the police merely observed. At one point, a small crane could not even enter the site due to these obstructions, resulting in additional costs for us. So who will enforce the law? Protesters trespassed on our property, crossed boundaries and screamed at us, all while the police just stood by. Imagine if we entered their properties like this, would the police ignore us as well? One night, neighbors attempted to cut down the legally registered tent of the Muslim students. When the students tried to protect their tent, one neighbor physically assaulted a student.
Yeah, I'm recording.
Despite being caught with a knife at the crime scene, the neighbor was allowed to leave with the knife when the student pointed it out to the police. Sir, just come. No. Come. Just a minute. Come. Look at this.
이게 뭐예요 이게?
Yeah.
What is this?
우리 거고.
What is this?
누군가요?
누군가요?
I have the video. I have the video. This.
거꾸로 다 넘기고.
누구 이런 거 누구?
찔러 죽이려고.
You see? You see?
You see?
You see?
This is the knife.
You see?
이걸로
See this
찔러고
one?
했어요.
See, you see this one?
From this, she took it
She
and
bring the
throw
knife
it.
here.
I have the
She
video.
brought the knife.
I have the video. I have the
그러니까.
video.
She broke the
Yes.
knife here. You
I have
mean
the video.
you want to shoot me?
We have the video proofs
This is wrong.
on this. Yes. What is this? You can show it.
저거 자르려고. 나 찔러 찔러
Show
찔러
it.
찔러.
연구하세요.
No. Show it. Show it. No. Show it. Yes. Why are you hiding? No. What is this? Show this. What is this? Knife. What's this? Why is this? This is law. Furthermore, the police permitted them to remove the tent and park their car in that place. The neighbors even went so far as to place pig heads in front of the mosque gate, and they remained there for several months, all while the police were present. The district office role has also been very disappointing. To briefly summarize, in 2014, Muslim students purchased the current site and registered it as a mosque that same year. They peacefully prayed at the old Korean house until 2020. At that point, they decided the mosque needed reconstruction, so they obtained all necessary legal permissions and began the reconstruction, which proceeded smoothly for 3 months. In February 2021, incited by third parties, as discussed in episodes 2 and 3 of this series, neighbors filed complaints and local pastors led protests against the mosque's reconstruction. The district office, bypassing legal procedures, immediately halted the construction. The Muslim students took the case to the court and won in the district court. Their decision was upheld by the High Court and later confirmed by the Supreme Court as well, affirming that the mosque's reconstruction was fully within the bounds of Korean law. After the Supreme Court's decision, it was the responsibility of law enforcement authorities to enforce the rule of law. However, their role has been disappointingly ineffective. They have allowed third parties to delay the mosque's legal reconstruction despite the court's ruling. Later, on several occasions, they suggested that we should accept a payment from them to buy the site and leave. Proposing such a deal without providing an alternative site is inappropriate for a government authority. Moreover, City Hall informed Daegu Mosque representatives that third parties involved in this issue would prevent them from registering another location as a mosque. This raises serious questions about whether Korean law enforcement authorities are too weak to confront such groups who are openly defying the Supreme Court's decision. This case is a critical test for the government. Will they allow themselves to be held hostage by these third parties, or will they uphold the rule of law? In the next episode, we will discuss another question: why was the first display of pig head heartbreaking for the Muslim students? Stay tuned.